Hi, welcome to the continuation of the Townforge 500 coin tutorial series, which we're starting from only 500 in-game coin and not including mining from the Monero blockchain, and seeing if that's economically viable. And how to go about spotting things, and that you can leverage other parts of the other players, more affluent buildings to bootstrap your way up. So I was just going. I've done three workforces now, which have got us some more labour, and I was just about to go and buy some more land to bring in some more coin, when I realised that it's now, if you look here, it's been the growing season. The early spring started quite some time ago, and really ought to have sown this field to get some food, some vegetables, because one of the things that our little community is short of for being self-sufficient is food. So we've got we've now got these three workforces. One of them brings in 17,000. The other one brings in 20,000, and that one, the very first one that we've got, brings in 15.5 roughly. So it's actually, we're bringing in 36,000 labour for every tick, every real game, 6 hours. Consequently, that with the previous things that we had, we've now got 100,000 labour from 2 ticks since that was initiated. And because we also now have 2 sawmills, we get 8,000 pine and 5,700 sandstone, plus remember, in the previous one we specifically got a stone cutter, a quarry, which was mixed sandstone and granite. So now we've got quite a lot of granite each tick, which we can also sell. Right, but we need to sow this field for vegetables, otherwise we're going to need to buy them over the winter. So balance 82, and let's check and see. If we go all the way down to here, it was sow. We have 2 choices, but it's not the grain season yet. But we can sow these vegetables. The labour needed to do so is 83,000, and current labour balance is 101. And just to check how many vegetables we'll get from this, you go to the building settings, and here it will tell you at the bottom if we get our timing right. In other words, you have to do the sowing. It depends on temperature, it depends on the geothermal bonus that you get, and also it also depends on whether you've done some research and got patterns on things. It's quite a really interesting game. You can get different advantages for things, for different techniques, etc., etc. So if we get our timing right and sow it right and then harvest it right, we can get 86,000 vegetables, which works out to be about 1 million food points, and that really should see us through, but also be able to sell some of that as well. So that again is another way to bring in some income. Right. Oh, nice. We pick location. We got a 7% road bonus on this one thing. So that's how much we'd get. So if we were to sell this once we harvested it from this land, then we could work out how much the labour cost us. Based on how much the labour cost, we can estimate a price. But remember, we have to take into account both the sowing labour and the harvesting labour, which are two separate things. So anyway, we're just going to go ahead and do the sow button. We will need 100, we need 82,000. We've got 100,000, which is fantastic, because we've got, right at the beginning of this tutorial, we said that we only had the one workforce, which we calculated would take, because that brings in 15,000, it would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 83,000 divided by 15, about 5 ticks to get to the thing. But now we've got 3, so we're absolutely fine. We can get this in like 2, so we're good for getting enough labour to be able to harvest this when it comes to it, without having to buy the labour then either. All right, so that takes us down to 15,000 labour in our ish. I'm going to put it onto that again so we can identify our buildings. Really, I should have, I must apologise, I really should have built nice pretty buildings on these, so that it's all nice and pretty and easy to identify, etc, etc. But hey, so now let's go over some of the things that I did last time. Alright, so whilst we were off screen, I went and got a little workforce thing here, which is the reason for picking that is because it's in it's got 8 buildings right next to it. Right, about 8 little houses, plus it's right next to this road, which is although it's a 100% road, economic power of 100%, at least, again. Yeah. So picking this flag here, this is our little workforce. If you can set things within about 50% more the thing, and still get the road bonus. So that's why I set the economic power on this to 150, and that's why we're getting from relatively small building size, 20 by 33, we're getting 20,000 or 17,000 labour. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I wanted to get one of these basic residential. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 3 here, which remember the influence matrix in the Townforge manual shows us that a workforce will get benefit from up to 4 basic residentials, but also the basic residentials get benefit from up to 4 other residentials as well, plus affluential. So they're all getting benefit from that affluential residential, which has a really large, there you can see the lines gone all the way right the way up there, so it's getting a benefit from that. But I particularly wanted to make sure that this little group is self-beneficial, if you know what I mean. This one here will be the next target for doing one of those 270% basic residentials. And let's just check that. Okay, so we've gone and used up all that labour on the agricultural thing, but we've still got some sandstone left, and we're going to be pine. We're 16,000 short on that. So let's see what the price of, let's say 18,000, because last time I did this, I went and the previous tick from 1, I went and miscalculated again and got the label was too short. Sorry. So 18 coin for 18,000 labour, which was take our balance down from 18 down to 64, and we need 100,000 labour, which would be 40. Well, that's actually doable. That will leave us spare 64. 64 by 80 will be 24, and so we can get some extra things. So yeah, I think we'll actually go ahead with that. So 100 and 10. Let's call it 105,000 on that. That's 4.2. Oh. 42. Right. Yes, that's better. 105,000. All right. So we'll end up with a budget of 4,000 labour extra. And let's go for 18,000 pine. 18,000 pine, that's 18. So that's 40 plus 18, 68. I would say 2. Yeah, we're good. Let's leave that to go, and let's go over things again in our inventory. We have 1 sapphire. Where did that come from? Woohoo! Sapphires basically give you advantages apart from anything you can sell them. But when you have cultural buildings and you have affluential buildings, they will give you a plus bonus for the thing, because all of your residents are posh. Hey, what? And we are at 2887 pine per tick, 121 oak per tick, no teak. Sandstone is 1550, and the granite's 272, which is nice. So we can sell that. So we've had two ticks. So we've actually got or 1 tick, I think, since I last sold some. So let's trade for that. So let's sell that granite. 275. Point, and let's pick the lowest sell value of 0.016665. Whoops. 0.016665, just to make sure everything. It's only 4 coin, but hey, you know that's at this level, that's quite a lot. And what else? We've got that oak, 131. 0.019. Now there's actually been just to let you know, there's been a change in the 0.24 version of the game where you can actually burn oak. You can choose whether to burn oak or pine as a preference. And oak is actually modified. The game developer has actually modified it because oak in real life actually has higher BTUs than pine. So that will be a little significant sort of like little. No, quite nice little change. It's really nice that the developers actually you're listening to these kinds of things and this kind of feedback, because some of the things we end up actually overproducing on oak. Anything is you can't do anything with it because nobody's buying it, so it would actually be better for you to actually use it to burn because you've got it. Whereas in some cases the pine is actually, you need more of it for more of the buildings. Anyway, it's we're just finding out, experimenting what amongst the economics of this game. Please excuse me, I'm just going to go off screen and to my other account and be the person who buys those from myself. By not myself. So yeah, so now we've got enough there. We've bought those 2 things that were needed for this basic residential to do this at 270 a thing. Good, right? Yep. We've got enough labour, we've got enough pine, we've got enough plenty of sandstone. Road bonus is 27%. We'll end up with a 4.39 income per tick on this one, which I think what would we call it? What should we call it? We've had Jane, we've had so Mindy's mansion. Sorry, it's the little things. I'll just note here that I'd got yet another cultural thing. So we've got one that covers those two, one that covers those two. So this one's covered by two cultural, and this one covers those two. So I'm doing these tiny little cultural things because I find it funny. You get bonus for having up to two cultural thing. I could have done it as a large building, which would have covered the area, but I like the small ones. Call me quaint. So last thing before we sign off is we should check the balance, because the last thing we need is to do has to run out from our inventory. We need to wait for that to go through first, don't we? So let's have a look. And that's exactly what just happened. Great, brilliant. So that's our fourth basic residential at 270%. Right, so we've got 3982 net labour, 1455 pine. That's not going to be enough. So we've got 10,000 vegetables. That will be enough for now. We can buy some more later, or we can buy some grain. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to buy 3,000 pine and 5,000 labour. And that's 3 coin. Oh, that's we're plenty. I think because of course we sold the granite, so we did 22, went up to 27. Brilliant. With granite and the oak, so it did make a difference. You see, because we can buy it's only 4, but we can buy 4,000 pine to cover the heating for the things, and the labour we've only got that much. So get the way, shoot. 10,000, and that's another 4. Yeah, we're good there. All right. So and now let's go and check our agriculture. I want to rename this just because. Where's the rename thing? Where's the rename? Rename. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Rename. Adams Apples. Right. Building settings, yearly harvest, sowing labour, that harvest labour. Woo! That's high. 166,000. We need to remember that because that will be our next target. Is to bring in enough labour, so we mustn't either overspend on our on the money we get, so we can buy some labour, or we must leave the amount of labour coming in from those 3 workforces to be enough so that we build up to that 160,000, because otherwise we won't be able to get that food from the field, and that would be sad. So if we harvest, it's not vegetable harvest season, so it starts in 306 blocks, which actually will be the next tick. 306 blocks. Yeah, that's the next tick. So another 6 hours. So anyway, we'll be able to show you the yields on that. Once the harvest season comes through. which will be in the next video. All right, thank you very much.